Today, we're going to talk about something called trauma release exercises. It's fascinating, and I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and I can't believe I haven't brought it up already, but I want to share a few things. Just in essence, the concept behind this is that our bodies, you know when a dog starts shaking? Humans have that. Any animal will shake like this every now and then. You'll just see them shaking.
Okay.
And they're shaking off a physical response. It helps move our adrenals, it helps our cortisone, right? But the problem is, we also, as humans, have a natural ability to shut that off.
Oh.
And that's when you can see little ones, little kids shaking,
Mm-hmm.
but as they get older, they stop that.
As grown-ups, they think that's not cute anymore. We don't think that's cute.
Well, we don't think we're in control of ourselves. We're not supposed to shake. We're also not.
We'll shake our sillies out. No? Okay.
Yeah, well, we're not supposed to shake. We're not supposed to shake uncontrollably. That doesn't make any sense,
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
right?
I
That feels out of control. Obviously, it's literally the opposite. But
Okay.
I actually do that on a regular basis. Like just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
well, wiggling is different.
Yes, I think
Yes.
I understood that said something different. Because in yoga, they
Yeah.
have
Ah,
you do that too. No, she's
Yeah.
talking about naturally, like your body's like having a reaction,
Yeah.
I
And
guess.
when you have a
trauma
reactive,
response.
right.
Yeah.
But also, when you can do this automatically, it helps in those times when you are actually having a traumatic situation. First of all, you don't have to have had a history of trauma,
Right.
but you also don't have to pull up those circumstances in order to get the effect or to directly connect the physical issues in our body with the stuff that happened to us in the past. So I want you to hear that there are some of these exercises, and what I want to do is play a video of explaining what's happening physiologically because I really love the science of it. It's about 7 minutes long. And then I want to give you a video showing you the 7 exercises that they've put together. And one of the things that I want to recognize is that you have license within you. If you notice something, this is important. You're in a noticing situation. We all love that word. You're in a noticing position, so you get to adjust. And here's the thing about this. There are some of these movements that might trigger a past event, and that's where you want to shift things, gently walk through this. And I don't want to scare anyone. This is actually really basic stuff. And the video that I'll show you about the actual exercises is lovely because it shows all sorts of shapes and sizes, people doing these things. So this isn't about being in a particularly fit situation in order to do these either. This was really, really helpful in me releasing a lot of I like to think of my baseline stress level lowering as often as possible. What we do in these exercises, there's 7 of them, and it's lower body. So it's designed to hit your biggest muscles. You're going to stress your muscles in a few different ways and also stretch your muscles in a few different ways to work yourself to this place where you lay on the floor and you either lift your pelvis or don't. After all of these exercises, your muscles are ready for this. There's a release that happens and you just start shaking. It's fascinating. And
Wow.
you can adjust it or not. We're not going to be able to do the whole thing today, but I want to give you all the tools so that you can try it yourself. We're going to walk through the exercises in their duration that they need in order for it to work. Like sometimes you have to, do the wall sit basically for 5 minutes, depending on your strength level. Or 2 minutes or 1 minute, but there are also some other stretching exercises. So it's very individual.
Mhm.
Longer videos out there that I can share with you that go into a more comprehensive class, if you will. But what I want to show you here in our limited time are the concepts behind it so that you can really practice it and try it yourself. All right. Let me share my screen with sound. The name of this, the person that developed this, his name is David Berceli or Berceli. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He spent a lot of time in war zones, and he noticed this. So he's going to talk about this system. Okay. Everybody see this okay?
And trauma releasing exercise process.
So just to be clear, it's tension and trauma releasing. So this is not, again, I don't want you to even think about your trauma in this. This is just literally designed naturally to happen to your body to help you release the tension and trauma. So we don't need to go back to our past, but here we go.
In this short video, I want to give a brief explanation of the tension and trauma releasing exercise process, which tries to express both its simplicity and its complexity. The exercises are designed to mildly stretch and stress certain muscle groups. And they start with the feet and the ankles, and then move up to the calf muscles, and then the quadricep muscles, the adductors and hamstring muscles, and then into the psoas muscle. Now, it's important to stop here and mention the psoas muscle since it's integral to the tension and trauma releasing exercises. The psoas muscles actually insert in the top of the femur, or which is the top leg bone. And then they move through the pelvis up into the spine, which is actually their origin, and they attach to the front of the lumbar vertebrae of the spine. The psoas muscle, or the psoas major, is the only muscle that connects the legs and the pelvis and the trunk of the body. That's why it's particularly significant. It has been recognized by many professionals that tightness in the psoas muscle is often what creates pain in the lower back, the neck, and the shoulders. Since it is also considered the fight or flight muscles, chronic contraction of this muscle tends to keep the nervous system on high alert. After we have exercised these particular muscle groups, the last exercise is to lay on the floor and pick up the pelvis, which stretches the core body muscles. So that now we've moved all of the muscle groups from the feet all the ways up through the legs, pelvis, and into the back and up to the shoulders. Now, what does this produce? The stretching helps to activate what's called central pattern generators. Now, central pattern generators move up through the spine in a process called crosstalk. Central pattern generators are networks of neurons located inside the gray matter in the center of the spinal column. And the central pattern generators are responsible for the tremoring mechanism moving up through the spinal column and into the brain. Once the stimulation is received into the brain, it can go into three different parts of what's called the triune brain. The first part is the brainstem, considered the reptilian brain. The second part is the limbic system, or the mammalian brain. And the third part is the cortex, or the human part of the brain. Now, once this information goes into these three parts of the brain, and it gets to the cortex, it goes into what's called the intrinsic connectivity network. Basically, this is three parts of the cortex that are involved in the communication of how to process the tremor mechanism. So once the information gets to the cortex, it goes into what's called the salience network, or the switch. It's called the switch because it's this part of the cortex and this part of the network that determines whether the information coming from the body should be sent to what's called the central executive network, or the thinking mode, and therefore it should potentially do something with this information? Or should it go to the default mode network, or the rest mode, where this information is taking in as a reflective experience or connecting to some experience of the past? Now, this entire process is assisted by what's called the transcortical loop. The transcortical loop sends information through afferent neurons from the body to the brain. And the brain's response is to use efferent neurons as part of the transcortical loop to return some type of information back into the body. And by repeating the exercises and activating the tremor mechanism, this entire activity continues to loop its way around through the brain and the body and the nervous system. And it appears that by continuously activating this series of mechanisms, a reorganizational behavior emerges in the individual's brain, spine, nervous and myofascial systems, as well as their life as a whole. Now, what I mean by as well as their life as a whole, basically is if the nervous system is calming down and the body is going into a state of relaxation and homeostasis is being reintroduced into the body, the desire for social engagement or social interaction with other people automatically produces itself, meaning you don't have to try to be socially interactive because you feel calm and safe and comfortable with yourself, and this produces a sense of calmness, safety, and comfort to extend yourself into social relationship with others. And this is the process of TRE. It's about activating a shaking mechanism in the body that has positive effects of moving the body towards health in an integrated manner.
Okay, you got all that? It's a little heady, but you understand that this is physiological, it's not intentional. And the exercises that you go through help release and resolve and calm, regardless of what has gone on or hasn't. And it gives you a mechanism to help you move forward. Now, I don't think that, I've been on and off doing this for a couple of years now, but the point I'm trying to make is that I just keep practicing this. And it helps alleviate all of these things that go, we are constantly being hit with what feels like an external threat, and our bodies are reacting. And that's what we're trying to shift now. So, and maybe a little way of relieving a little bit of the stress here, because this feels stressful to me. I can't imagine it wouldn't feel stressful to you too. So let
I
me.
want to just say, I remember when you first introduced this to us in the Magic a couple of years ago, and I had never heard or known anything about the psoas muscle. And we tried some of these, and I was like, okay, I remembered it was coming back to me as he started describing it. Just getting to know, naming the psoas and getting to know and digging and learning about it is fascinating. Yet nothing else, take nothing else away, just learning about that. So then understanding all of this stuff, because I don't understand half of it, of course, what he said, but I get the overview and it will make sense. Yeah, it's very fascinating. So thank you for bringing this to
Yes,
us.
Sonia makes us feel smart in a gentle way.
Thank you, Maria. That's the sweetest thing I've heard in a long time. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Okay. All right. Let me share my screen here. This one, as you can tell, you'd have to pause it, which is fine, but to go between these exercises. But let's go ahead. And there's a disclaimer, as always.
Normally, these exercises can be done very safely and easily by yourself if you're using them for simple stress reduction or releasing tension in your muscles. However, if you're using them to reduce mild trauma symptoms, you should contact a certified provider from traumaprevention.com.
So just FYI, what he's talking about here is this is a tool that is used for traumatic PTSD symptoms. There's a gentleman in a video that's really interesting about a man who was involved in a traumatic situation in Afghanistan, and he still has physical reactions from that. And with this combination of things, there's an ability to reduce, if not eliminate, his symptoms physically without medication. So this is an opportunity. But again, my purpose in presenting this is for everyday, normal relaxation, stress relief types of things. But there is an opportunity for you to go to traumaprevention.com and find someone that can work with you personally. Because what they will do is they will notice if you've got extra tension or stress in your system. All right, it doesn't change the circumstances of what happened to you, but it does release, and you feel accompanied in the sense, and it does release, turn down the noise. It can. So with that, let's go.
Who will give you a more personal introduction to the exercises with a lot of helpful suggestions and insights on how to perform them safely when working with mild trauma. If you're intending to use these exercises to help recover from any severe trauma, you should only do them in the presence of a clinically trained TRE provider, because they can help you know how to use these both safely and in a self-regulated manner.
Exercise number 1, roll to the sides of your feet. Stretch your ankles. Going side to side, find your rhythm. We'll do this 7 or 8 times each side. And then stop and shake it out.
But just like in that first video, they were talking about starting at the ankles. Remember? And then they went to the calves. That's what these exercises are designed for.
Exercise number 2, Betsy, is heel lift. Going to be working the calf muscle. So step your right foot back. The weight should be in the front foot. Back foot is for balance. Going to lift the front heel off the ground. And you're going to work to your 7 on a scale of 0 to 10. When your calf muscle is fatigued, reaching that 7, stop, shake out your legs, and then we'll do the other side. Now the right leg. Right foot forward. Lifting the heel up and down off the floor. Working the lower leg, the calf. Find your 7 on a scale of 0 to 10 and stop and shake it out. Kevin, exercise number 3 is working your upper legs. It's working your thighs and your hips. All right, with the right leg back and your left leg forward, you're going to be fatiguing your left leg. Sitting the hips back like you're sitting into a chair, working the weight in your left leg. All right, so the back leg is a kickstand, come up. Let's try to get the weight back into the hips and the legs. That's it, the knees not coming over the toes. When the fatigue gets to a level 7 on a scale of 0 to 10, you'll stop, shake it out, and do the other side. Good. Hips move back. Very good. Good. Chest is upright. Shake it out and do the other side. Right foot in front, left foot back. Good. Sitting back and coming up. More weight in the right leg than the back leg. When that leg reaches a 7, scale of 0 to 10, stop, shake it out. Nice job.
You can see where you could pause on these and move forward as you need to.
Kathy, we're doing exercise number 4. Right? You're going to be stretching your inner legs and your hips and back. Take your feet wide, a comfortable width where you feel balanced. Fold forward, bending the knees, hands toward the ground. Relax your neck. 3 breaths here. Then walk your hands to your right leg. You can hang on to the leg or the floor. 3 breaths, relaxing the neck any bit. Go over to your other leg, the left leg. 3 breaths. And then move back center. You can reach the hands through the legs. There you go. 3 breaths. After your 3rd breath, bring yourself upright. Hands can go onto the legs. Get your balance and slowly step your feet together. Shake it out. Amanda, I'd like you to take your feet beyond hip width apart. Going to be opening up the front of the body, stretching the front of the body. Your hands can be at the hips or in your low back. You're going to be bending the knees slightly. You can look down or up. Take 3 breaths as you bow the back slightly. The hips move forward. After your 3rd breath, you're going to turn to your left, rotate the spine looking toward your left elbow. 3 breaths. After your 3rd breath, come center, rotate to the right, 3 breaths. Come back center, 3 breaths. And then come standing. Shake it out. Nice job. All right, Nick, we're going to start with wall sit, exercise number 6. And you're going to go ahead and find the wall behind you and bend the knees and let your back rest against the wall. Now you want your feet a comfortable distance apart and you want to see the tops of your feet. There you go. Good. Now when you sit, you're sitting on where would be a 5 on a scale of 0 to 10. So it's relatively easy. Good. Finding your 5. Now here, you're stimulating the leg muscles in the hip area. You're finding your 5 on a scale of 0 to 10. As it goes up to a 7, I want you to move up an inch. Perfect. Again, as that 5 turns into a 7, you move up the wall another inch, and it's back at a 5. We stay on the wall for 3 to 5 minutes. Traditionally, the tremors come in during this time. It's very normal to feel some shaking. If you're not comfortable with that, you just straighten your knees and come off the wall. Yeah. Now, find yourself back on the wall. Very good. Allowing the shake. We're coming up to that time frame of 3 to 5 minutes. You'll put your hands against the wall. Push off the wall to standing. Bend the knees and allow yourself to hang forward. The knees are lightly bent. The arms can be hanging or fingers on the floor. It's very common for the body to shake, vibrate, and tremor in this position, relaxing your neck. We're here for up to 1 minute. To come out of this, you bring your hands onto your legs and you come up from your hips. Come up slow, easy, and rest your back against the wall if you find you need that support. Exercise number 7, the floor sequence. With your knees bent, feet on the floor, open the knees to our first rest position. The foot soles touch and the heels are close to your body. This is our first rest position. We will demonstrate 2 rest positions. From rest position with knees open, we lift the hips. 1 inch, 2 inch, or just give the intention of lift. We're here for up to 1 minute. Then you bring your hips down. Rest for a minute with the knees wide. From this rest position, you would bring your knees together 1 inch at a time. Hold that for up to 2 minutes. We do this 3 times, allowing the tremor mechanism to build, the vibration in the body. After the body has movement, we bring the feet flat on the floor. We can move the feet away from the body 2 or 3 inches and position the knees to the angle that's comfortable for your body. Stop position is when we stretch the legs out and pull the toes back. You can stop at any time during a TRE session. The second rest position are the knees bent, the feet on the floor with the knees touching. You can choose either of the 2 rest positions. From the second rest position, you're here for 1 minute, and then you'll lift the hips for 1 minute. The knees can come slightly apart. After 1 minute, you bring your hips back down and relax, rest. Continuing through the sequence, you bring your feet together and you allow your knees to open 1 inch at a time. Each time you open 1 inch, you're there 2 minutes. Once the body begins to tremor, you go flat foot or maintain this position. You can bring the heels away from your body or move the feet away from each other. Tremoring, 5 to 10 minutes. Anytime you can go to stop. Anytime you can go to your rest position. When your TRE session is complete, you'll bend your knees and you'll roll to your left side. Push yourself up seated and sit comfortably. Observe your body, allow things to integrate.
Did you try that, Tommy? Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
everything but the floor exercise. I stopped there, but
Hold my yoga mat right down here underneath my feet. Yeah. The process, you don't even have to do those advanced exercises to feel it just by laying on the floor and opening. If you put the inside of your feet together and splay open like that, it automatically starts it. It's kind of weird initially, but the feeling of the trauma response, the shaking is fascinating to me. And it's not It's not rhythmic or linear, which is interesting to me too, but it happens there. So I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this, if you've got any questions about it. There is a, like I said, tre.california.com. She's the one I learned this from, but there are a lot of places out there just by searching for TRE exercises or TRE yoga. It's called that as well. There's something else that's new called, that I hadn't heard before, which was there's a neurogenic yoga. It combines the tension and trauma release exercises with particular yoga. So yeah, it's an interesting area, and I will be real curious to see. I already feel relieved and energized just from doing what they did there. So let me know what you think, eh?
Point at which your muscles start shaking, whatever, wherever that is. It's like, oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it really is.
It's interesting, yeah, to watch, to feel the body react to just those simple things.
Exactly. It's
And I
different.
was thinking, if I got nothing else, the stretches alone, yeah, they felt good.
Yeah. But
You
doing
know, I'm sorry, the older I get, the more I appreciate stretching. Go figure. Dogs know what they're doing by stretching.
Yep, downward dog is definitely, it came from a very wise mammal. The act of doing this business that's intentional about our nervous system. This other is not something that we're initiating other than activating our muscles. So let me know what you think, eh? And happy Sunday. Bye, guys.